This conference will now be recorded.
So, yesterday we started with batch apex. Did we? What are the notes till where I gave you the notes? Batch apex properties I gave you? Yes or
Characteristics.
no?
Yes, Rupam.
Perfect. Now let me go ahead. Here we go. Correct. Now, next, write down, little bit of writing work. Batch apex interface method. Batch apex interface method. Batch apex implements database.batchable. Batch apex implements database.batchable and has three methods. Number one, batch apex implements database.batchable. Batch apex implements database.batchable and has three methods. Number one, start method. Start method. Start method. Write down. This method is called at the beginning of batch apex. This method is called at the beginning of batch apex and is used. This method is called at the beginning of batch apex and is used. And its use to collect records and is used to collect records, right, or objects, used to collect records or object to be passed to method execute, to be passed to method execute, to be passed to method execute. Next, second one, execute method. This method is called for each batch of record. This method is called for each batch of records passed by start method, right, full stop. This method does all required processing. This method does all required processing. This method does all required processing of the job passed. Next, finish method. This method is called This method is called for all the batch. This method is called after all the batch. This method is called after all the batch are processed and mostly used and mostly used and mostly used to send email confirmation, mostly used to send email confirmation or post processing operation or post processing operation, right? Next, copy down this, put a heading called as batch apex structure. Batch apex structure, and please copy this in your book. Let me know when it's done. Over. Copy it. Right? Perfect. Now first understand what is a batch apex. Batch apex is a process where whenever you want to handle large number of data, you want to delete 10 lakh records, you want to insert 20 lakh records, you want to update 50,000 records, then we use batch apex. Batch apex is not for calculating sum of two numbers. Batch apex is not calculating, right, pension fund of Narendra Modi after 15 years of politics. You want to calculate what is the pension fund for Narendra Modi. So batch apex is not for calculation. Batch apex is not for doing something. It is only meant for processing large number of data. Whenever a data work comes, then we use batch apex. Batch apex is specially designed to handle large number of data. It is data related job. It is not processing, calculating. No, it is only for data. Wherever there's a data processing, wherever is the data deletion, insert, update, we use batch apex. What is the batch apex work? Batch apex will divide the given data into small batches. It will divide the work. It will divide the data into batches like this. One batch will consist of how many records? Maximum 200. 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. Total how many data are there? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 1200 records are there. How many you want to delete? I want to delete 1200 records. Let's assume. The batch apex work is to cut the 10 lakh into pieces of 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. The work of batch apex is schema. A mutton piece is given, it will must make it keema. Why? Because it can, if it's a small, then cooking is fast. Why do we cut mutton pieces into small, chicken pieces into small pieces so that toraga, fast you can cook. Otherwise, you have to take, it will take long time to cook if the chicken piece is big. Yes or no? Same here. If it's a 10 lakh data, if you push to the processor brain will get heat up. What the system is doing? It is dividing the 10 lakh data into pieces. Each piece will consist of how many records? 200, 200, 200, 200. And then it will pass through which service? Asynchronous service. What is asynchronous service? It is nothing but processing of a data parallelly with availability of the resource. So what it will do? It will first send this 200 to lane number 1. Second 200 to lane number 2. Randomly, there is no sequence here, right? Then here. And another job here. See, there are 5 threads. System will process at any given time 5 jobs. Five are there. 200, 200, 200. This one is waiting. Any one of the line is free, then that will go into that line. Till the time this deletion is going on, this is waiting. Idi wait chestundi ikkada to finish the job. For example, this job finished, then immediately this job will be put in that lane. Parallelly deletions are happening by processor. Such is called batch apex. Ardhamautunda, what is a batch apex? It's a specially designed to handle, it's an asynchronous services. What is asynchronous services? Whenever a processing of a code or a job happens parallelly, multitasking parallelly, we call them as asynchronous. Right? In asynchronous, the first is batch apex. What is batch apex? It is designed for handling large number of records. If it's 2 record, you will not use batch apex. If it's 20 record, you will not. Anything more than, let's say that 5,000. Anything more than 5,000 you're deleting, then you will not go and just write delete command. You will go ahead and you'll put through the batch apex. The work of batch apex has 3 batch apex implements an interface. What is an interface? Whenever you want to make a method compulsory, we use interface. If you remember yesterday's class. So batch apex uses an interface. What is the name of the interface? Database.batchable. Whenever you are using that interface, 3 methods are compulsory. Start method, execute method, finish method. What is the work of start method? To retrieve the data. The work of start method is to retrieve this 1200 records, then divide into batches. 200, 200, 200 batches it will create. And then pass the batch to which method? Method execute. So the work of finish method is to collect the data, create batches and give it to method execute. Real processing will happen where? In execute method. So don't write your logic in start method. In start method, you should write only retrieval program. Any logic you want to do, you have to write in which method? Execute method. When everything is over, system will go to the finish method. There we will send an email. Congratulations, your record has been successfully deleted. That is the reason batch apex has start method, execute method, finish method. Right? Now, suppose there are 1,000 data. How many batches will be there? Tell me.
1000 divided by
Suppose I have
200.
201 data. How many batches will be there?
2.
2. One batch can have maximum 200. Not more than that. So first batch 200, second batch 1. So I will have 2 batches. This is called batch apex. Here the data is divided into batches, chunk, pieces, and system will process piece by piece, piece by piece. So these days all the murder case you're hearing, what is happening? Everybody is cutting the body into pieces and then throwing here, throwing there, or burning, so that body can be disposed faster, quicker. See, same concept is applied here, so that the data can be deleted faster because you will divide into batches. One piece, small piece. Processor can easily process a small rather than 10 lakh at a time. So this concept is called batch apex. Here we go. Now let me log in. Login.salesforce.com. Rupam at the rate on151.com. Password CRM12345 hash. Here we go.
Rupam, is batch apex is only for deleting.
I log in. Setup. Developer console. Close. Close. File. New class. CL underscore 1306 underscore example1 underscore batch apex. Now we will use the word called implements. Implements what? Database dot batchable.
Batchable.
Here we have to say database dot batchable. And then on where you want to implement the batch apex? On S
Yes.
object. So I want to implement it in S object. This is a structure. As soon as I say Control S, I will have 3 errors. 3 errors will come. Here we go. 3 errors. Because you have to implement how many methods? 3 methods compulsory. Public void. I will start from down. Finish. Can I change the name of these methods? No. Public void finish. In the bracket, you have to give a parameter. Database dot batchable context. Anything AA. Control S. I will left with 2 errors now. I will be left with 2 errors. Two. Next, I will write public void execute method. There also database dot batchable context AA, comma, all the batches that were passed from start method to method execute. Start nunchi data vastayi, right? So where the data will store, I will say list of account AL. Over. Second error is also gone. I will left with only one error now, right? Any problem? No, only one error you see. Public list of account start. There also over, all error gone, one new error will come. Return type error. I will no more have a batch apex error. I will have a return type error. Right? START. Control S. All the errors will be gone, and this time I will have a return error. See? Batch apex errors are gone. Now what I have? Return. Because you promised that it is an on-void method. You promised that you will give a what? List of accounts. Where is the list of accounts? So here we go. List of account AA is equals to select ID from account. Only ID. Here, return AA. All the errors gone. My batch apex will be there on the screen. What happened? Duplicate AA. Okay. Account, AAL. Because A is already here. So AAL. Account list. So there is no error now. What is the start method will do? It will pull all the accounts, divide into batches of 200, 200, 200, give it to whom? Method execute. Where it will be stored? In AL. One batch will be stored in AL. That means at any given time, AL will have 100 or 200 only. 200 or less than 200, but it will not have more than 200. Right? For example, in this case, account, all account. Scroll down. Scroll down. How many accounts are there? Total number of accounts are 109. All these 109 will be now pulled by the start method, and it will be returned. Returned to whom? Returned to the start method. What is the work of the start method? It will divide into batches. How many batches will be created? Only one, because 109 is there. Suppose it's 209. How many batches will be created? Two times. First time the batch will be given AL. When that is complete, then again this method will be called for the second time. Like this, third, fourth, fifth, this method will be called the number of times the batch is there in the program. If there are 300 batches, this method will be called 300 times. Every time AL will have what? 200 record. Now inside this, what do you want to do with the record? We want to delete. Delete what? Not AL. Delete AL. Will this work? Do you think that all this, if I say Control S, it's okay? It will save. Let it save first. No error at all. I know this. Save. Why? Control S. Saving, saving, saving. No error at all. It should save. Save, no error. Now tell me, can you delete all the accounts? Can we delete? Yes or no? Tell me in which scenario an account cannot be deleted. What are the different scenarios an account cannot be deleted? Yes.
It will
Which
not
are
be
the
deleted.
scenarios? Sorry?
It will not be
If it is
deleted.
When?
associated with a case, in that case,
Perf- Perfect. Whenever there is a case, for example, A1 mutton shop, I open it. Any case is there? Nothing is there. This will be deleted. A1 mutton shop, delete. Delete. There is no error. Delete it. There's a one more A1 mutton shop. I open it. But this time I create a case. New. Case. Right? Case subject. AAA. Save. One case got created inside the A1 mutton shop. One case. Yes. Now try to delete. 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 It will give error. What is error? A1 mutton shop cannot be deleted because it is associated with a case number 1056. Whenever there is a case, you cannot delete an account. Whenever an account is linked to a contract, Sales Cloud, while creating order, we created contract. You can't delete account. An account cannot be deleted if it's associated with a case. An account cannot be deleted if it's associated with a contract. An account cannot be deleted if it's associated with a partner. Three scenario, account cannot be deleted. Now let's come to the program. What type of DML am I using? Delete AL is what type of DML?
Atomic.
It is an atomic DML. Gurtunda Leda. Atomic DML. What does the atomic DML does? What is the nature of the atomic DML?
If there is one error, all the remaining records will also getting
Either
frozen.
everything or nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
వెళ్తే అందరు వెళ్దాం లేకపోతే nobody should go. If we live, we all will live. If not, we all will die together. But it's not that we will let one die and remaining to live. No. Either everything or nothing. Now when you delete, can you delete A1 mutton shop? No. Because that is associated with a case. That means if I run this job, not a single record will be deleted because it's what type of DML it is? Atomic DML. Here, either everything or nothing. Now I will make it to non-atomic DML. How to make it?
Database
Database
dot delete.
dot delete in the bracket
False.
al comma false. What type of DML it is now? This is called non-atomic DML. What is a non-atomic DML? Either everything or something.
Something.
Something. వెళ్తే అందరు వెళ్దాం లేకపోతే కొంతమంది వెళ్దాం. If we all go, we'll all go. Otherwise, few of you will go. So that means whichever is error, like A1 mutton shop, they will not be deleted. But wherever deletion is possible, system will go ahead and delete it. See, finish method, I'm not writing anything. Even if you don't write in finish method, it is must that method has to be there because it is an interface, right? So control S. First simple batch apex is over. Now I will click on debug. I will click on open execute anonymous window. Here we go. And then I will execute the batch apex. Class name BA equals to new class. Next, database dot execute execute batch. Database dot execute batch. What is that? I will put BA inside it. You will not call start method, execute method, finish method. No, we will not call the methods even though they are public. These are the 3 methods available. But we are not going to call any one of the methods. We will just call the instance of the class inside the right batch apex database dot execute batch. I say execute. Done. Go and check account now. Account. Only I will say all account. 14 will be there. 14 will be there. All accounts. 13, 14. Inka ledu. If I scroll down, because all got deleted. Where they are sitting? App launcher, view all, recycle bin. See, here you will be able to see all account. See, every account is sitting where? 103. Total, no. Where is account? 95. 14 plus 95. How much is that? 14 records cannot be deleted. 95 got deleted. So 109. See, these are the 95 accounts is deleted, including this. Anyhow we deleted manually, but all the remaining was deleted by whom? By the system. Which system? Batch apex system. The work of start method is to collect the data, divide into batches, give it to method execute. In this place we write the logic. We don't write logic in start method. Start method is only to retrieve data. Once the data is retrieved, the data will be divided into batches and the batch will be sent to method execute. One by one batch will be processed. That means in this case deleted. When all the batch is deleted, system will go to the finish method. This is the place where we write the email. Messaging namespace email. You know this how to write. Right? Single email message, mass email message, whichever you want to call. And whatever the task that you have put inside the execute method, that will get executed. Clear? Anybody has any doubt? Clear? Anybody has any doubt? Right? Yes. How a simple batch apex is written? Yes or no? All good? Anybody any questions? Anybody wants to ask something? No? Right?
What is governor limits?
We will come there. These are the limits which a platform has imposed. To maintain the performance of Salesforce, there are certain limits has been put everywhere. To retrieve data, limit is 50,000. Limit is 50,000. But if you write with a batch apex, then it's unlimited. But if you write normal SQL query, this will return you only 50,000 at max, not more than that. If you have a 10 lakh data, system will give you 50,000 only. It will not give you 10 lakh. But in a batch apex, you can overcome the governing limit. Overcome the governing limit. For example, retrieval limit is 50,000. Whenever you write an SQL statement, the data returned, the maximum data returned to an SQL statement by a system is 50,000. Governing limit. Like this, whenever you are updating, there's a governing limit. Whenever you create a field, there's a governing limit. Wherever there's a create a validation rule, 25 validation rules can be created. Something like this, governing limit. Where can I find it, Rupam? You can go directly to Salesforce and say, Salesforce governing limit PDF. Download a PDF copy. Here we go. Apex governing limits. Right? All the governing limits. See? SOQL. Right? Synchronous limit 50,000. Asynchronous limit 50,000. But you can overcome this. See? Number of SOSL statement 20. Number of DML statement 150. See? All these are governing limits. Number of, right, Apex code you can write 2 MB. Like this, I can go ahead and I can download the complete governing limit documents. Corner somewhere it will be there, download PDF. I don't know. So you can see whenever Visual Force limits. What are the limits of Visual Force? Maximum response heap size 15 MB. Maximum state size 170 view state. Number of email template size should not be exceeding 1 MB. If your email template size is exceeding more than 1 MB, you cannot execute that from the Visual Force page. See? Maximum header size this much. Maximum JavaScript this much. See? All these are governing limits. You have to go and read this document. Apex governing limit. See? These are the governing limits. Clear? Please read these governing limits. Yes.
By using batch epics, we can update the records also, right?
By using what?
This batch epics, Rupam. So we can
Yes,
update.
we can update, we can insert, we can delete, we can do anything. That is the purpose of batch apex, to handle large number of data. Wherever there's a data handling process is required, we will go by a concept called as batch apex. Let it be delete, let it be update, let it be insert. Whenever it's a bulk record, bulk data, we go by a process called as batch apex. Clear?
Yes,
Right?
Rupam. Thank you.
Topic is not yet over. Tomorrow the batch apex will continue. Today I'm stopping here. Right? 40 minutes or 45 minutes class today. Right? I'm not feeling well. I will just take a rest for 15-20 minutes. Right? Tomorrow, read the batch apex a little bit more. Read the governing limit. Tomorrow, we will continue with the batch apex in depth. We will use database. Do some research. What is database dot callout? Right? There are database dot rollup, right? Database dot callout. Do a research on it. Database, right? Here we go. Database batch apex data bsc database dot stateful. Do a research on what is database dot stateful and database dot callout. Two things. Do more research on database dot Stateful. In interview, these questions are compulsory. What is database.stateful? When you use it, what is the purpose of database.stateful? Do some research and come tomorrow. Right? More research on batch apex, BATC batch apex. All these open ones, batch apex, execution and advantage, right? What are the why batch apex? What is the purpose of batch apex? See, what is a batch apex? What are the advantage of batch apex? Please read this. Why we use batch apex in Salesforce rather than normal apex? Please read this. How to write void execute, right? Execute method, start method. What is the start method does? Read. What does the execute method does? Read. What does the finish method does? Read. So read this document, batch apex. I will do more. Tomorrow we will do it. We will not take this example. How to execute a batch apex? Database.execute batch. Just now I have executed a batch apex. Like this. Right? Database.execute batch. There are two parameters you need to follow in batch apex. Right? Two parameters. What are those two parameters? Right? Please read this document. Batch apex limitations. Batch apex limitations. What are the limitations of batch apex? In interview they will ask. So please read this come. Yanta theory. You have to sit down and you have to read. That is the reason I'm stopping here, because I want you to read this first and then we will go in depth inside the batch apex tomorrow. Right? Clear? That's it for today. I will stop here. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice and wonderful day. Bye bye, guys. Take care.